Hello all, and I planned on doing a live stream this past weekend, and I just didn't have it. So, or I shouldn't say this past weekend. To me, it's this weekend. My week basically starts on Friday, or Friday. Listen to me, Sunday. I work Sunday through Thursday, so that's where how kind of my week starts. So, anyways, um, as wrestling goes, this was a pretty fun week or weekend, I think, and it's one of those things. Like last night in particular, I'm watching New Japan, or we're watching AAA, and AAA is what AAA is, and then turning around and watching the New Japan show. Was a lot of fun, and then when you kind of stack that with Rampage, which was like an excellent show for 1 hour, you had this like really cool weekend, and it's something that we kind of always forget about because I think we're focused, even like me who doesn't even watch WWE, because WWE is like wrestling to so many people. When I'm at work, I don't usually tell people I like pro wrestling, and I'm sure a lot of people are like this because the first thing out of their mouth is, "Oh, you mean WWE?" Not that there's other wrestling companies out there, not that there's like AEW's even out there or anything, and then you have to start explaining things, and it's just easier just to not to talk about it. I like to nerd out. I would love to nerd out with more people about pro wrestling, but it's just not something that happens, and it's very frustrating. And I'm sure I'm not the only one. And so it's kind of sad that one company can make wrestling so unenjoyable for so many people, and yet we have something like this weekend where we just had so much good stuff. You had like Rampage, and Rampage was so good. You started off with, look, I would be the first to tell you, I'm still probably not like super pumped about Christian and Omega, but Rampage helped with Christian winning the Impact TNA title. That helped. That helped with that storyline. It does make it a little interesting. And I'm going to be live there, but I think that it's just, I think that match still feels kind of flat because we as wrestling fans, and I think we kind of view All In kind of the same way we do as Double or Nothing, as those are the two big shows for AEW, and it just doesn't feel like a big enough match, even with whatever else we will have. So I think it was a good start. I think it's kind of there, but I think it was really cool. It helped that that Pittsburgh crowd, which it's funny because I saw people talk about this, that in WWE land, Pittsburgh is notoriously a bad crowd city, and yet you would have not known that if you watched Rampage. That they were so freaking hot and so freaking into everything, and I'm sure Britt helped, but it was just awesome. And that match, the Christian and Omega match, was like really good. The crowd was into everything, and that helped. Um, and then of course you had Miro and Fuego de Sol, and that was like really cool too, and a cool moment. And then you had Britt, and because AW isn't stupid, they let her, like, it was like a homecoming, and it was like she was mad over, and she looked like a star, and it's just like you see things done right, and it's just like, oh my god. And I see a lot of people always say that diehard AEW fans don't see anything wrong with AEW, and I disagree with that. I think the issue is that, and I think this really talks about like how warped some fans are, is you have fans that want to criticize AEW, but they criticize like the wrong things. There's things you can criticize AEW for, but I think because WWE has like brainwashed people to such extent that they can't even like criticize AEW for the right things. Um, like like they criticize them for like the wrong things, and it's really it's kind of like the weirdest thing. But you had that, and that was like cool, and everyone seemed really jazzed. And then you go into Saturday, and you have Triple Mania, and Triple Mania is usually like a fun show at the very least. I'm not always big into it. Triple A is what Triple A is, in a lot of ways, but it was fun. It was a fun show, I thought. It's weird because like the opening match was the Marvel Lucha Libre match where you have these, luchadors painted up as Marvel characters, and it's just like the Spider-Man, like which I think was Ben Kingo. I think was Spider-Man, but it was like he was, as Nightmare Baller put it, he was in the prototype Spider-Man outfit. He wasn't even like in the regular Spider-Man outfit, which is weird because you would think you would want to use that. You would think you want to use that. Like to me, if I'm Marvel, I would want to use like the regular Spider-Man outfit. I would want to use, and I get they want to use like the movie stuff, but you also want to use like the best costumes, and the best costumes would be Spider-Man. Um, you actually do like Spider-Man, Ultimate Spider-Man, or Miles Spider-Man. You could do Spider-Gwen, the Gwen Stacy Spider-Woman, or Spider-Girl, who has an awesome outfit. And then you could do Spider-Man 2099, which is another just awesome costume. And you could do all of those, and you could have all the Spider-Man. And then you could have, like Doctor Doom and, who, you have a ton of, like, you could do that. Instead, we got, like, a really bad Thanos. We got a really, really bad looking, Hulk. We had Venom, and Venom didn't look great. And you could do Venom, but that Venom costume was not very good. And you could also do Carnage, and especially with I know they don't want to like do Sony stuff, but still, you would think that's more of the stuff that you would want to do, and it's not what they did. But you would think that this would be something I would be all into. I liked the last year's better. This one was not very good. I did think the Captain Marvel outfit was pretty good, except that I think having needed to be a full like skull cap. I think the hair thing kind of bothered me. But anyways, enough of that. But you had it was a fun show. I was kind of disappointed in Deanna Purrazzo versus Fabi Apache. I thought that was not as good as I had hoped. I think part of that was because they were trying to protect Fabi, and it just came off kind of weird. And you had AAA being AAA. And then you had the Lucha Brothers match, which was awesome. You had that trios match with the clowns, which I'm not really into the clowns. So, and really the only thing I really wanted to watch was Kenny Omega versus Andrade. And it was weird because if you watch the show, the camera cuts would probably even make Kevin Dunn go crazy. They were just insane, in my opinion. And there wasn't that many people there, and the match they were having was definitely a match you would have in front of a bigger crowd, right? And that's not the kind of the match. So it was missing that. You got the camera cuts. It just seemed really weird. You did have Ric Flair there. That was cool, and the whole Ric Flair getting involved and all of that. But it was very much a AAA match in a lot of ways, and so I'm kind of willing to give Andrade kind of a pass on this match because of that. I saw things out of him that looked better than the last time we saw him, but I definitely think he needs to be wrestling more. I think that's probably one of the issues. And I didn't even watch the main event because I watched the New Japan show, which was really good. And again, we had lots of fun. You had a lot of you had because it was a New Japan show, so you had the 6 man and the 10 mans, and that's fine. And I'm really not into I really didn't care for the Juice Robinson match that much. The Ishii and Moose match was freaking. I loved that match. It wasn't a great match, I wouldn't say, but it was a really fun match to watch. The Good Brothers versus Moxley, and then Nagata was which seemed kind of weird as his special his mystery partner. And that match was okay. It was a Good Brothers match. You had Jay White versus David Finlay, which was it was good. It was really good, but it was just I'm not that much into either guy, especially not as much into David Finlay. Tanahashi versus Lance Archer was great, and I really liked that. But it was a fun show, and it was just fun to be able to go from show to show and have all of those good vibes. And I think that's something that we kind of just so many people just kind of and everybody I think is kind of guilty of this, is just concentrates on WWE, and how bad WWE is, and there's a reason for that, because so many people, that is how they view pro wrestling. And even if you're like me and you don't even like watch WWE and you don't even like WWE, you know that the way that pro wrestling is viewed is by WWE standards. It's not by how we would like it to be, unfortunately. Maybe someday we will get there. Maybe AEW will keep growing, and if it keeps growing, then maybe people will be like, hey, what is this? This is maybe, wow, I didn't know pro wrestling could be this. And that would be awesome. That would be awesome. So, and you had all the teases on the New Japan show, which also I think made it really good, because you had, all of the AEW references. Are we going to get any of that? I don't know, but we will see, I guess. But yeah, I think that's really all I really wanted to talk about, was just come on here and talk about that. It's interesting, that I think even people like me, that unfortunately WWE is so bad that it just ruins it for the rest of us, and unfortunately we have like maybe 2 generations now of fans that only know WWE, and that's not good, because WWE hasn't been good. It hasn't been good for a long time. I mean, even they had times where things were okay, but they haven't like really great. And the times that we thought they were going to be great, and it looked like they were maybe had turned the page, like with Daniel Bryan, or like with CM Punk, didn't really happen. It was more like of show, you might say, and that's kind of sad. And then you've got like the whole NXT thing, which is interesting. The fact that it looks to be going back to what like a lot of people probably think it should go back to, which is developmental. But I think a lot of people forget that even when it was developmental, it wasn't really developing that much. It wasn't doing what it was supposed to be doing, other than getting guys who were already ready for the main roster, just ready in WWE's eyes. And the fact that we're going back to apparently big guys, and there's not that many big guys who are going to be able to do like modern stuff. And you look at like I think I said this in the stream I had, where you look at like AEW has enough big guys, like big beefy guys, where they could probably put on like nothing but like shows that Vince would be like, why can't we do that? Well, the reason why you can't do that is because you didn't think those guys worked like big guys, and so you didn't want them, and that's a problem, right? But it is what it is, I guess. That's pretty much it. But yeah, this weekend was a lot of fun, and I think that it's something that we kind of forget about. So with that, I've rambled on for almost 15 minutes, so that's probably more than enough time. Hopefully I will be doing these a little bit more consistently. We will see. I would like to do a live stream again. Don't know when I'll get the chance. Maybe Wednesday. Maybe after Dynamite, or we might. I could probably. It's too late to do it after Rampage, but maybe after Dynamite. I should probably do it after Rampage though, shouldn't I? Probably so, especially this coming Rampage. But enough about that. Anyways, with that, I'm out. See you later.